look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessity of Mother Nature's recipe.
Wait a minute, am I supposed to be doing something right now?
Bare necessities of life. Wherever I want.
Oh, it says don't worry about your worries or your strife, so whatever. Hello and welcome back to another midnight showing. As always, I'm Kelly, and I just got out of The Jungle Book 2016. And yeah, I'm not going to do any jump cuts or anything on this one. I just want to hurry and get this video out. As you can tell, I've been kind of lax the last week or two. I haven't really put anything out. I'm hoping to have at least 4 videos up this week, but yeah, it's just getting to the end of the semester, and I'm already behind, so just got to get crap together. Going into the actual movie, non-spoiler version, this was a good movie. It was well made, technically proficient. Story is exactly the same as before, which I kind of don't really understand, kind of. I don't... what's the way to put this? If you're going to do a remake, you want to stay as close to the original story as possible, right? Yes, that's what we've always said, but this movie, I couldn't help but feel that this like glaring thing in the back of my mind just saying, it's all pointless. They didn't change anything from the original. They added a ton of stuff, but they didn't really change anything. So, why not just go watch the original one from 1967? I mean, don't get me wrong. Technically speaking, the one from 1967, the original cartoon, was pretty bad. A lot of reused animation, lip flaps that don't match up, worse than dubbing an anime. I mean, technically speaking, that movie is pretty bad. It's still a great story. It's just technically bad. This one has that great story and is technically proficient. So you'd think this one would be better, right? But we see this remade so often by so many different companies, not just Disney. Even though Disney did try to make a live-action Jungle Book back in 1996, I think the right date was. Anyway, but yeah, they've tried to remake this before. It's just, I can't help but feel what was the point? Just going through the back of my mind the entire time. Granted, the movie is great. It's very well made. The CGI is as photorealistic as you can get without dropping into the uncanny valley. For those who don't know, the uncanny valley is a technical term. The more realistic something looks when it's computer generated, the closer it gets to the uncanny valley. It's just like this weird dip off where it gets to so realistic that it looks just horrifying. And you have to be very careful not to fall into the uncanny valley. And this is as close as they can get to realistic without being in the uncanny valley, which makes the whole movie just a lot better. Granted, I also don't... One of the things that just kind of bugged me is that the whole movie is CGI. It was completely shot on sound stages. All of the trees that Mowgli's jumping off of, they're all just sets that were built, and most of them are fairly small, and they had to even reuse a few of them. So I just had to ask, what was the point of even making Mowgli human? Why not have him be CGI like everything else? Make it a full CGI film. Because this barely counts as live action, guys. There's literally 2 characters in this, 2, who are not CGI. Everybody else is just voiceover, which did a really damn impressive job. Minus Scarlett Johansson as Ka, but we'll get to that when I talk in the spoiler section. It's just, the movie is great, and technically it's really good. The storytelling is there. It is definitely a Jungle Book movie, and probably the best remake we've ever seen of the Jungle Book out of all the ones that have come before, because this has been, everybody and their dog has tried to remake the Jungle Book. It's like Tarzan. Hell, that version from 1996 or whatever it was, the one I mentioned that they tried to reboot it, was basically Tarzan. It's pretty bad. You know, this is probably the best one of all of those. But I don't necessarily call that I just call it pointless. It's a good movie, but it's just, why was this remade? Because the Cinderella made money? I mean, I praised the Cinderella. It added a lot of stuff, and to a degree, this actually did. It didn't want to change anything that was great about the original. It just wanted to add stuff in. But that led to a lot of shifts in tone, especially when King Louis starts singing I Want to Be Like You, which didn't make any sense whatsoever, but was fucking awesome because it was Christopher Walken singing that, and his just way of talking, just whenever he does like the I want to be like you, you know, the little monkey things that you got from the original song. When Christopher Walken does that, they sound more natural because it's just the way that he always emphasizes certain sentences. It's really shifting in tone, going from this straight up, you know, realistic. There was a song before, but they built into it a lot better. It was more just Mowgli and Baloo were just kind of hanging out and they're having fun with each other. This is a full-on musical number inside of a very, very serious, hyper-realistic movie. It just didn't really mesh, and there was a lot of shifts like that because they wanted to add stuff but keep the original stuff that was great in the movie. So, yeah, my non-spoiler version, this isn't exactly a must-see. I do recommend seeing this in theaters, but go on a cheap day when you can get the $5 Tuesdays or when it hits your discount theater like Cinema 6 here in town. I mean, it really just isn't worth spending full price for this, especially when you take your kids to it. They're not going to be as entertained as you think. This is a remake for those who have seen the original. Because the kids are, well, all of the kids in my theater were running around. They were screaming. Well, not screaming, but there were more than a few of them that were getting a little bored at times. So I can't really say that this is the best movie right now that you should go and see. And just a word of warning, it is very violent, especially for the PG rating they gave it. I'm not even kidding you when I say that there's actual damage done in this movie. When Cobb bites something, you see his teeth go into that something. You don't see like any blood or him like tear off chunks of their body or anything, but you actually do see his teeth cramp through something, and it's really violent. This is PG-13, borderline R-rated violence in a PG film. You know, if we're gonna have a rating system like this, maybe we should actually, you know, follow it. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, so for those who do want to stay for spoilers, the plot of the movie is the exact same as the original. Mowgli is being threatened by Shere Khan, and he must be taken to somewhere where he can be safe by Bagheera the Panther, who is a lot more vigilant in this film. In the original, he oftentimes kind of threw the Mowgli problem at other people, and he oftentimes got separated or fell asleep on the job. I mean, that's how the whole Kaa situation happened in the original movie. This one, he gets separated from Mowgli because Shere Khan attacks them, and he tries to hold off Khan while Mowgli gets away via Stampede reference that was clearly meant to invoke visions of the Lion King. It was almost done shot for shot. Granted, it was very well done, and it was very beautiful. It's just, yeah, that was just a pretty obvious Easter egg, and it was a little distracting for the moment where I'm like, oh, we're doing a Lion King here? Okay. But, yeah, they improve Bagheera immensely, who is basically very, very, what's the word? Efficient. He knows what he's doing. He's doing it to the best of his abilities. When there's a shortcoming, it's not because of him, it's because of the situation. He's not very supportive, but he does care about this kid, so he doesn't want him to die or anything like that. So he's doing a lot of things that seem dispassionate or angry or anything like that because he's legitimately trying to save Mowgli, who he cares more and more about. You know, and then you have, and of course, well, before I move on, I just want to say one more thing about Bagheera. Ben Kingsley as Bagheera was a perfect choice. In fact, let's just get this out of the way right now. All of the casting choices in this movie are perfect. Ben Kingsley as Bagheera. Bill Murray as Baloo was fucking unbelievable. Iris, I can't pronounce her name. The guy who was Heimdall and Thor. He as Shere Khan. God damn. That right there just, that is the creepiest, scariest motherfucker I have ever heard come out. I mean, this is like up there with Tony Todd in anything that he does. And especially what he did in Flash as Zoom. If you haven't seen it, seriously, just go look up a clip of the Flash and just listen to not the Flash, but of Zoom, and just listen to Tony Todd's performance of him. It's fucking scary. But yeah, Iris, God damn it, that guy as Shere Khan, just perfect casting. There's only really one casting that was so far out of left field that I can't say it was good, and I called it in the trailer to any of my friends who may be watching this, because I kind of talked about this one a lot, and that was Scarlett Johansson as Kaa. Don't get me wrong, the way they did Kaa in this was really, really, really impressive. This is not anything on the technical level of CGI, because Kaa looks freaking amazing. Rather than just being a snake, they actually made her an anaconda, and a fucking big one at that. I mean, just like, this is the fucking giant anaconda you see on sci-fi movies, or at least early 2000s sci-fi movies, like, because they don't really do all those anymore. And, you know, the one that's terrorizing towns or attacking a bunch of expedition people who are inside of a hut. No, they made him big, and they also changed him to a her. Okay, seems like a superfluous change, but one of the things I also really did like is they did the hypnotic eyes thing, and they even did the shifting green and yellow, kind of like you did with the hypnotic circles back in the 60s movie. But this time they made it like her scales are just shifting in light as she gets closer and closer and closer, and almost looks like blinking half the time. And it's like, oh, that's actually really clever. That's a good way of doing this. And then Kaa speaks. And Scarlett Johansson. Oh my gosh, this just didn't work, like, at all. Okay, so in order to really discuss why Scarlett Johansson doesn't work, I have to talk about the original Kaa here for a second. The original Kaa inside of The Jungle Book was voiced by the same guy who did Winnie the Pooh. And everybody and their dog's been making fun of that recently. Screen Junkies with their honest trailer, CinemaSins made fun of it. How It Should Have Ended was making fun of it. It's just, I get it. It's a funny fact, and it's pretty distracting when you know that, because did this snake just eat my favorite teddy bear? Oh my god! You know, it's kind of like one of those situations. But it's just, there's a reason they picked him to voice Kaa. Winnie the Pooh is the most relaxing, laid-back characters of children, you know, cartoon filmographies. Let's just put it like that. You know, he's not meant to be super excited. He's just supposed to be that lovable, relaxing person. He's a teddy bear. Literally a teddy bear. Having him voice Kaa makes sense because his voice was so relaxing and trustworthy, and just, there's no hostility inside of it. So it makes sense that this hypnotic snake that's literally trying to eat Mowgli, that's trying to gain his trust, make sure he doesn't go away. Trust in me, trust in me. You know, give him the most relaxing voice you could possibly give him. Give him the most disarming voice that you could, and disarming voice actor you could possibly give him. So they gave him Winnie the Pooh. And it worked very, very well. Now, translate it to day with Scarlett Johansson's, and instead of being relaxing and disarming, it comes off more as seductive. Whether that was intentional or it was all of the computer-generated added effects with all of the stupid echoing that they gave her and stuff like that, I can't really say for sure, but I feel very uncomfortable when this obviously female snake is seductively seducing this 10-year-old boy in the middle of a forest with no one around. And you think people freak the fuck out about the pedophile nature of freaking Johnny Depp as the big bad wolf inside of Into the Woods? I mean, I feel like I just need a shower here. Granted, they did shorten the car scene by a lot, and she just is there as an exposition fairy. Blue saves her almost instantly, and you never see the snake again. But at the same time, why would you pick Scarlett Johansson for that part? Why? I'm not saying that she can't do voice acting. I'm not saying that that she shouldn't try or anything like that. I'm just saying that this is a weird choice. A really, really weird one that just came off as just wrong on so many ways for me. And yeah, I can't say that Scarlett Johansson did a great job. Everybody else was good. Hell, the kid they got to play Mowgli, he's acting against nothing. There's not even people in green screen suits standing there giving him, acting like they're there for him. No, 9 times out of 10, when they tell him he's got to put his head against this CGI wolf thing, he's just going like this. There's nothing here. Nothing. It's just one of those things. This kid is doing a better job than most adult actors can do these days. That is saying something. So it's just, if having such an all-star cast of just people who are perfectly cast, even Christopher Walken as King Louie, he plays him off as like this mafia boss. And he's not just some swinging guy. No, this is, you're going to give me what I want. We're going to be friends. Or I'm going to break both your kneecaps, take all your fingers, break them one at a time, and then I'm going to throw you off this cliff, if you know what I mean. I mean, it was perfect. And then you just have Scarlett Johansson as Ka, and playing this very, very seductive snake is just, I need a shower. So, yeah, I mean, as far as gripes about the movie, the only ones I really have are Scarlett Johansson's performance and the massive amounts of violence in a PG movie. I mean, this is really, really pushing it. I mean, this would be pushing it if it was rated PG-13. I mean, there's moments where Shere Khan actually swipes you with his claws, swipes Mowgli with his claws, and it actually leaves a visible cut he's bleeding from on set. I mean, this is getting violent, especially when you mention being burned alive and getting thrown around and having Ka literally kill animals by biting into them and throwing them off cliffs. I mean, this is some heavy duty shit here. So, yeah, I mean, my only 2 gripes are basically those. The massive amounts of violence and Ka. Everything else is just beautiful, and the story is very simplistic. Mowgli ends up coming back to stop Ka to fight his own battles because Ka's threatening his family, which are the wolves. So, yeah, that's basically the movie. There's not really much else to say there, so, yeah, my final verdict, as I was saying, is just, it's a good, great film. It's just, you can't help but shake that feeling of pointlessness. That there was no reason to remake this. There was no reason to put it out in the way they did. And, frankly speaking, you could do something better with your time. That's all. So, I would give it a discount theater price. If you can see it on a cheap matinee or $5 Tuesday or wait till it gets to your cheap theater in town, absolutely. It's not a must-see at the moment. But it's not worth ignoring, and especially not worth seeing in theaters at some point. I'm just saying that there are much better films that you should probably be seeing, and arguably worse films that need to be evaluated before you actually go and see something like this, or spend your money, or drag your kids to it. So, yeah. that's it for me. If you enjoyed the video, tell me what you thought about Jungle Book in the comments below. Maybe we'll get some healthy discussion going. And as always, if you liked what you see, be sure to hit the subscribe button and share this movie with your friends, as well as give me a like. It really does help. And follow me on Twitch and Twitter, and like me on Facebook. Yeah, you almost got that wrong again. Almost. I'm not going to do it. But yeah, I'm hoping to have some more videos out, especially of the next barbershop movie, as well as the criminal movie. I don't know when I'm going to be able to go see those, and I hope I'm going to be able to see them soon. Cross your fingers. We'll see what happens. And as always, I'm Kelly, and I'll see you all next time.